All right, we're live. Let me just double check a few things here. Okay, it looks like we are live. And we are going to be sharing, expanding, as always, into a little bit of everything. Today happens to be the first of the 11th month of this old reality, new reality, new reality. So it's actually pretty big. Um, we have 2 more months before 2025 is over, and it's mind blowing just to think that. But we're here, we're moving, and we're shifting, and we're recalibrating, and we're realigning ourselves, and we're doing this very like new kind of flow into the new. Um, and it's exciting and it's beyond anything that we have been experiencing up until this now. I mean, I know that things there's a lot of movement and there's a lot of things going on, and there has been a lot of things going on since 2020. But yeah, that was only a preparation phase. Um, if you are here, welcome. I would like to know if the sound is okay. Hopefully it is. I am using my other headphones, and so it looked like it did pick it up. So hopefully you are able to hear me okay. Uh, Hi, Lilith. Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Uh, there is, as always, tons of shifts and tons of changes. However, because yesterday was Halloween, um, the, there was a bit of a difference there, and I'll share a little bit more. Maybe you can also share what you felt. And then today actually felt like New Year's Day. No one was out. The streets were golden. Um, I just went out and it was like no one's here. Like no one's out. Significantly, like not no one. Like, there's always people out and about, but there was a significantly less number of people out, and the energies just um, felt nice. It felt actually very calm. And I was also surprised to feel this yesterday. Had tons and tons of kids come and trick or treat. The thing is that here in Mexico, it blends with Day of the Dead, and so a lot of kids ask for their little skull, which is just candy. There were a lot less people saying trick or treat, so that was interesting. I did have a couple of people say that, and I always say, "Okay, trick, show me a trick," and the kids always gonna look at me, like, "What are you talking about?" um, so I had tons of kids. I ran out of candy, which was a bummer, but I knew it. I knew that because last year it happened. My kind of um, radar was, or how what I felt for me. yesterday, as opposed to the year before for Halloween. Um, Probably a little bit less kids, but still tons of kids. Um, and it was a shorter time frame. So last year, I probably started giving candy probably before 7. And there was a swarm of kids, even like by 10. And this year was a little different. They started out coming out maybe like 7. I didn't start giving out candy until 7:30, and then it was significantly low by like 9. When did I stop? Yeah, it was probably like 9. It was 9. Um, we had 0 kids. So bizarre. So I'm assuming that's not normal. Interesting. Did they feel kind of fresh, like the air was crisp and sun shining? Actually, yes. There was like a shift in the frequencies too. Um, and nobody was out, which is rare too. Like it's Saturday. That's more of a Sunday here. Sunday, this town of almost a million people literally feels like a little town of like 50% less people. So Sunday to me is like heaven because it's so peaceful and it's so like very little people. Today felt like that, and it was just really weird. But it was like it was nice and peaceful, but the mind's like, whoa, this is strange. Like you said, it was a little bizarre. But it definitely felt like, oh, something shifted. Like it's a whole new month. Something's changing. Something changed. And so that was very, very palpable today. And I'm like, oh, and because sometimes I forget what date it is, so it's like, oh, it's the 1st of November. November's always really big. Um, November, with the 11 frequencies, and we have all these 11, 11. And then we have the Chu energy of the Chu as well, and we're 11th too, Lilith. I just remember that. So there's always this big there's always a lot, and sometimes it's just energetically. So sometimes we'll feel a lot of things, but then more of the physical movements won't start until like December. Of course, December is always, lots of movement. However, I will be traveling later this month, and then next month, probably next month too, depending on how long we stay. But December is always always a lot of movement. There's always a lot of like maybe not too much traveling, but lots of movement as well. So let me know how you guys feel. Also, the frequencies, how you've been feeling November and December. Um. Oh, that's right. Oh, wait, I didn't know that. Did I? Oh, I think I knew that, but I forgot. So, amazing. That's exciting. Earth, happy, uh, uh, upcoming birth. I like that Earth Day, Earthing Day. Um, I have a lot of birthdays too this month, actually. Lots of birthdays, or lots more than normally. Um, and it all just seems very like, oh, this is the next step. This is the next big jump. This is the next big frequency. This is the next big thing. And I don't play too much in like the next big thing of like what's happening out there. There's tons of things happening out there. It's more of this personal. personal, it's you. This is all about you and your frequencies and your realities and what's happening in your life, how to continue to move in this new flow. How do you move with so much change? How do you move with so much going on? How do how do we learn to flow, and how do we learn to maneuver, and how do we learn to really be the change, like be the wave, which is always about riding the wave, and you become the wave. And that's how change becomes this natural flow. And we can talk a little bit more about that. I do have, I did an announcement in a couple of places, but I have this new, I felt like the alignment of, following this following with what I'm doing in Spanish. As Spanish, I started a little school, virtual school, and so I kind of felt the same energy come through in English, which I never really have in this way. And so, I mean, I have and I haven't. Like it's this like interesting energy, but um, it'll all have its own flow though. I'm getting very like specific messages on like how to bring both through. And so this month will be like the month that I'll be sharing a lot I will be doing a lot of like live classes and sessions and courses probably in some capacity. And everyone is welcome. Everyone is invited. Yeah, I just shared the link though to the I shared the link so that you guys can sign up because I am doing this. I'm going to be sharing information via email as far as when, where, what I'll be hosting, what time, Zoom links, all of that stuff. I'll be doing that via email. So, if you'd like to join us, I have the link in the comments, and so we'll be opening up to so much more stuff. But I know a lot of us are feeling into, what's next, what's to come. In fact, somebody asked me that. Somebody asked me that on my Facebook today about 11:11, and I honestly don't play so much in like one day kind of, you know, big bang. It's just one day anymore because every day feels so massive. Literally 11:11 feels like it's every day. Every day there's a new realization. Every day feels like an awakening. Every day feels like a remembering. Every day is a huge activation. Every day there is a lot going on energetically, emotionally, mentally, physically, you name it. And so when we talk about like, oh, what about like the actual day? It feels like it just depends. It depends on where you are. It depends on what's going on. It depends on like what you've been going through, right? What phase you're in, right? It's every day, every single day, every day. It's just massive. Every day, it's like this humongous gate opening. Every day, we have so many different um, frequencies flowing through that it is just so massive. Um, but again, it just depends on where you are. It really does. There will be collectives that are going through the same thing and are going through the same phases. But not absolutely everyone is going to go through the same thing. So for you, it might be twice as intense. For you, it might be twice as soft. It just, again, everything is relative. Um, However, whatever you're feeling, though, there's going to be tons of people that are also going through that too. So the biggest thing is to continue to breathe, continue to feel, continue to pay attention to your body, pay attention to the energies inside, pay attention to what your body is guiding you to do. You know, something really fascinating is coming through, and I'm just sitting with it because, and I'll share a little bit here. Before, when we first are in this, like, you know, very disconnected state, um, just really deep into the old reality, it's fast, right? Everything's fast, everything's like automatic, you know, very linear, chasing time, all of these different things. And there's a moment where everything flips and you start slowing down and you start doing things the opposite way and you start sleeping a ton and resting a ton, which is backwards than the go, 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 move, 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 fast, fast, fast. Okay. However, there's another flip, which when I started to receive this information, it started to make sense as to why we say 360. However, even that came through. It's 369. That's why Tesla came with 369, because it's a 369 turn, not 360. 360 would mean that you're at the same the exact spot again. So we go from the old linear to way to completely opposite, to everything being backwards and upside down and inside out, because everything flips. However, there's this really interesting evolution where you start to come back, however, like already having anchored that reality, that frequency of like the being more open, the consciously breathing. And as you continue to anchor that and move into the 369-degree turn, you come back into a new phase where when I say everything's automatic, it's because your body is in this new flow, doing things where you don't have to think, where you're just in this constant flow. You're following your body. You're following this new flow. You're following that instinct, that, you know, that intuition, this like higher self voice. And so it's very interesting how it's like, oh, I'm back to automatic, but from a completely different space, like from a completely different aspect. This is not me just being on autopilot like I was before many moons ago, where everything was really fast, fast, fast. And, you know, you're like not fully present. Everything flips, and then it flips again when you're able to hold more light, and everything is in this very fascinating flow where your body actually moves as kind of on its own almost, and you're just flowing with it. And it's just this amazing dance. That is how this is kind of like the new flow for us, for all of us. And you're able to move twice as fast as before because you integrate so much light that time is no longer linear. Time is no longer what it used to be. Your capabilities and how long you used to do certain things and how long it used to take for you to do certain things, it's all very different. It's actually like turns out to be a lot faster. So it's so fascinating, this whole energy of like from being really going really fast, but from an unconscious space to going like really slow and like very like in your being state in the present, and then flipping again to being able to move fast, but as like from a much more conscious space and as light. So just wanted to share that because that's been coming through, and I'm like, oh, this is fascinating. This is very wild. But you'll I feel like at some level you know where you are, right? You might be in like the phase of like, oh, everything's slowing, or I'm just in this being space and completely exhausted and tired and I can't seem to do anything. Um, but I'm starting to feel a new flow and I'm starting to feel a lot of things. Because everything is becoming so multidimensional, you're going to be in every stage and in every phase at some level all along the way, which is also part of how the mind breaks. Because right now, there is just no linear logic land. It's like no man's land, really. It's just like it's everywhere. And something really interesting. I won't go too deep to it. And I haven't even, for all I know, it might be clickbait, but I know, you might have heard of him. I know him, and he probably just opened up to, you know, opening up to a different reality. So, Neil deGrasse Tyson, I believe that's how you say it, shared or posted a video the other day, and I just saw like the little miniature on the video saying something along the lines of like, "Oh, maybe Earth is flat," and I just chuckled inside, not because of whether it's true or not, because every single person's reality is changing. Because absolutely everything that we thought, oh, it was definitely like this, is like blending, and like everything is very fluid. Yeah, I think, I just learned who he was like 5 years ago, not too long ago. But he's big in a way. And he's actually he's very open, obviously, and conscious. And for him to say something like that is quite big, just in the sense of, ah, we're going through a phase where so many people are going and really sensing reality. My reality, or reality, is not what I thought. Everyone's reality is changing. Everyone's reality is morphing. Every reality is um like water. Like, woo, everything flows. Everything is Nothing's set in stone, nothing is solid. At the very deep core of everything, like nothing's solid. Everything's energy, everything's moving, and everything is meant to move. And what we once thought, we're opening up and seeing it different. And something that we once, held very strong beliefs is all shifting. And everything that we once, you know, believed that this was the ultimate truth is all shifting. This is because we are not unidimensional, we are multidimensional. And the number of realities that exist is infinite. I was just talking to my mom a little bit about the Mandela effect. And interestingly, also, I saw like another video on this was Greg Braden, he's a geologist, and he was on the show. I don't know her name, but she came out on the Big Bang Theory. No, yeah, the Big Bang Theory. Yeah, she was Sheldon's girlfriend. I don't remember her name, and I just started kind of watching that, just clips of it. Anyway, she's a doctor and she has her own show, and she had him on the show, Greg Braden, and he started to explain to her the Mandela effect. And so it was really fascinating just to see, how much we're opening up and just how much this whole world, the energy world and this. And, I saw someone on like, um, uh, um, I saw, I don't know if I saw it on TV, I saw it on YouTube, but this show is aired on TV here and it's on, it's not on cable. So everybody has access to it. There was a numerologist on this show, and I'm just going, mind blown. Just because there's so many of these things that are becoming mainstream, and there's so many things, there's so much of this talk of like energy and just new perspectives. Um, they're opening up, and so many people are being exposed, and they're seeing it, and they're watching, and they're just kind of like, oh, it doesn't matter if they believe it or not. Truly, it doesn't. What is important is to realize, like for me, oh my God, this is mainstream. Like this is a show, you know, in just regular TV, that probably a lot of people watch, like probably like older people. But then in this other scenario where Greg Braden is being interviewed by this gal, I don't know her name, forgot it. And she was big because of the Big Bang Theory. Um, and people that like there's a kind of a different collective of people that are seeing this and are being shown this, and that within itself is a whole activation, humongous activation. So anyways, the reality of our world and the reality of what we once thought was real, was true, was solid, was the only way it could be and it could exist, is all changing. And all of a sudden it's like nobody wants to subscribe to that. You saw the number drop. This is happening. This is already happening. This is already here. This will continue to happen. This will continue to grow. This will continue to expand. And one of the biggest things, I recorded a little video in Spanish this morning. One of the biggest keys to all of this is that we have to continue to just stay open. To what? To everything. So that we can continue to feel, so that we can continue to just flow. And the thing is that, whether or not, this person or this other person is still kind of in like, doesn't really matter, because the world will continue to flip upside down. And all the constructs of our reality are going to continue to become very malleable. So a couple of other things. I know that I've been going through like just very like bizarre, like really cool though, energetic uh, simulation. Okay. Don't normally use that. Um, where the light that you hold is able to transmit much faster, is able to shift and change and build realities much faster. Um, the light that you hold, the light that's coming through, and the light that you're anchoring inside of you is, it's like it's gaining more of the control. Like the remote control is now being held by your light for the most part, or a lot of the time. We might still resist it. It's like, it's not ego versus light, it's ego versus ego. The light will let you have as much control as you kind of agree to. And then there's a moment where it just gets taken away. And it's interesting that I said it like that, because that's a lot of what's happening in a lot of different ways. Things are just kind of being taken away. But it's like light is coming back and taking back the control remote. The ego dissolves. And the ego has to dissolve in order not to continue to fight. This is a big, big thing right now with what I see. It's like there's still a lot of, little me, little aspects that are still in this tug of war. I want to have control. I want to have the access. I want to have this. I want to have that. Because it is scared of losing, and it is scared of dying, and it is scared of this, and it is scared of that. But it's not scared enough to let it go. So it will continue to hold on to it. It will continue to bring it in. It's also very paradoxical. Like ego is like, there's so many twists and turns and distortions and illusions where it says one thing, but it's really gravitating towards that thing that it's scared of. It's fearful of this thing, but it really wants to keep it close. So you see how it's very like, what? And that's where a lot of confusion comes in. That's where a lot of frustration also comes in. But it plays into the activation because it allows us to break free, like break. There's a lot of things. Yeah, there's a lot of energies flowing through. So when you say ego feels much louder and stronger lately, that's because it's about to dissolve even more. So like towards the end, or towards like the last phase, it'll get really, really loud. And it will get very, very like, it's also too a way to be with it. Like it will want your attention, or it will do that to try to get your attention. However, the biggest key is that just allowing more light to come through, and allowing like your soul to come through will automatically allow that aspect to no longer have that strong pull. It'll just start to dizzle, drizzle. It'll start to like dissipate. And so automatically you have more light come through and less ego to resist. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of that. There's a lot of that going on in the world, and different aspects of the reality. Where there is this, old power war, old power, um, tug of war, uh, old battle. Um, that's probably the the examples that I'll use. And again, it's this like little, you have two little kids fighting over um who gets to play with interesting the dead animal is what's coming through. What I feel like that came through because it's like when we look into the separation game and we look into like the ego game, it plays with like it plays with the dark. Okay, and it just wants to keep playing in it. Um and so the moment that it starts to like fade is the moment the light comes through and it just, takes over. Just like, oh, come back into the heart. Or come back home, come back home, come back inside. It's so interesting. Again, I see that being playing out in, you know, different ways in the old system. The ego's getting really loud. The sense, this power, hunger, power, old power, control is getting really loud and really distorted. We get to decide whether we want to continue to support that or whether we get to say, that's it. Closing that chapter, closing that book of that chapter, closing that chapter of the book, and then opening up to something different. Opening up to, I am now much more ready and much more willing and much more open to let my light come through. Breathe more light. Super simple. We just forget, right? All of us really do forget how simple it is. We have been playing the old game for so long that it became safe and it became entertaining. Once something becomes entertaining, you tend to stick with it a lot longer. When something's funny, when something, makes you giggle and laugh, you kind of want to stay in there. You kind of want to just, stay in that, oh, I'm being entertained. Because the old reality of distortion and trauma has become entertainment. It plays with a lot of resistance. And it's part of why it's harder to let it go. If something's, it's like, it's not like when you put your hand on the fire, you have this automatic response of like, it's hot, I'm getting burned. It's this very soft, not soft, but like very like, well, you know, I'm trying to feel into like what would be Like the other example that goes along with that. It's almost like you've been burned so many times that the moment that you put your hand back on the fire, you no longer feel it. And it's just this like, oh, cool, let me play with that. Like that's kind of where we've been. We're at with the level of like distortion and like backwardness and twistedness and all that. Like it's not this it's been such a norm for so long that we've been in it we've kind of we've transitioned out of the hold on, maybe we can hear that. That's so that's so crazy. I had this happen last year. I don't know if you hear the little kids asking for candy. Because it blends with Day of the Dead. People ask for candy 2 or 3 days. Last year, I think I gave candy 2 days, and then the following year after that, it was like 3 days, and I was like, 3 days? Are you kidding me? Anyway, you may or may not have heard that. Like the kids were just yelling outside. Um, so that's where we're at, and this is why feeling is so important. Yeah, it was loud. And they come in groups too, so like everyone's yelling like they want their little skull is like it's a direct translation. They want the little skull. But we're out and I did not get any more, so sorry. Um and it's like it's not like they didn't come yesterday. It's the same kids. Oh, anyway. Oh, this is why feeling is so important. Sorry. Back to that. Just to kind of wrap this up. Probably just end in the next 15 minutes or so. Um, Part of why feeling is so important is because it allows you to feel into just how heavy all of this has been. Like it moves you out of like being entertained and feeling like, oh, it's all normal. This is how it is. This is just the reality and it is what it is. And we're supposed to live hell here. To, oh, fuck, this is really heavy and like hurtful and traumatic. And once you start to open out to that and you start to feel, where it is in your body and you start to feel all of these emotional stuff, emotional energy, and you start to feel where it hurts and where there's pain and where there's this heaviness is the moment that everything starts to dissolve. But we do have to, like, don't get me wrong, once I started to realize that, we've been entertaining with the dark, we've been entertaining with, you know, very, very deep, dark concepts of abuse and, trauma and death and all of these different things. It does. It can make you sick. However, the biggest thing is to start opening up so that you can start to feel this, so that you can start to really like feel with your whole body how this continues to perpetuate that same cycle. And all of us are so ready to say, that's it. I'm done. I'm closing this chapter. I'm going to feel into every little thing and every distortion because that is how I break out of the old, and that's how I break the cycle, and that's how that is how. Oh, okay. I don't know what happened on Facebook. It says that it just kind of the transmission got off. Um, the moment that we start to just feel the levels of distortion is the moment that things start to change and things start to shift. And it's a process for every single one of us. So, allowing yourself to feel, allowing yourself to allowing everything to be an emotional activation. When you allow things to be an emotional activation and you go into the heaviness, the tears, the shaking, the, all of these different things that happen in the body, the more your body is able to dissolve that energy. It's not your ego, your mind's job to do this anymore. This is what makes it hard. This is what makes it challenging. This is what makes us go, oh my God, when is this going to end? And, when is healing going to end? And how long is it going to take? And that's because you've been doing it from the aspect of you that never wants it to end. It just is what it is. The moment that you start to say, you know what, I'm really done, and I just want my whole body to feel this, is a moment that the body starts to release it. And you can connect to the body too. Like you can connect to different parts of the body that you're feeling and visualize that body part start to open up. Imagine that part of the body receiving tons of light. Imagine that part of the body getting washed, getting cleansed. Um, all of these different things do support. But don't stay stuck in, oh, I have to do all that. It's almost like you see what needs to get done, and then you literally call forth more light and say, hey, light, okay, take over. Light, okay, do what you got to do, and I'll stay present. It's not like, oh, do what you got to do, and I'm going to go play over here. I mean, you can sometimes if you're guided to, but you have to really feel into, do I just want to escape it? Like, oh, take care of it because I don't want to feel it. Because you have to feel it too. You just have to feel it from a much open space, not from the ego space, separation space. That makes sense. And then everything up until that point, supported. However, it wasn't coming from 100% of your light. So there were still ego games being played. And so when once you start to open up more and more and more and start to really allow your light to take over is when more things change. So we'll take a moment to feel, where do I not want things to change? Where do I not like how things are changing? Where do I not want to see this thing that's changing? Because my mind wants change to be this way, in this form, at this time, at this level. Where is my little me saying, this has to be this way? I have to keep holding on. I have to keep playing in the old. I have to keep on surviving. And remember to go polar opposites. There's going to be a part of you that wants change, but kind of wants it in this way. And there's going to another part of you that's like, no way. Don't want change, want everything to stay the same, want to be in hell. And so allowing yourself to just open yourself up. Yeah, I got the note, Adrian. I'm not sure, actually. Interesting. Not sure what happened there, and I don't think I can bring it back unless I like close this out and come back out. So good thing I'm over here. Um, yeah, weird, weird. Um, and anytime you're feeling into something, go go polar opposite. Go, where do I want this and where do I not want this? Where is this too hard and where is this too easy? Where is this too much and where is it too much of this and where do I feel it's too much of that? Like opposites. It will be a big activation. Because remember, you're not just one thing. You're not just thinking one thing. You're not just feeling one emotion. You're not just feeling one aspect. You're actually feeling like a gazillion of them simultaneously. You're always in multiple realities. You're always in multiple aspects. You're always multidimensional. And so we have to start acting and we have to start feeling like, start with two, start with polar opposites. Start with polar opposites. Where do I feel this and where do I feel the opposite? Where do I feel, where do I think this, but where do I also think the opposite? And you can also notice this with when you talk and when you say things, or when you write things, or when you comment. I always feel this. Anytime you guys tell me one thing, I know that there is a polar opposite energy that's probably stronger than where you are, than what you're saying. Not all the time, but Sometimes it is. And when we start to open up to, oh, what if I am feeling this? What if I do feel this? What if I do think this, not just this other thing? Then everything starts to loosen and you start to flow and you start to release. You start to release more. Your body starts to release more. The moment you open yourself up to multiple energies, multiple emotions, multiple feelings, multiple beliefs, multiple aspects, so much more easier for your body to flow in that reality too. So this is important. Might open up and dive a little bit deeper into this because I really want you guys to do this. I'm inviting you to take note and become a little bit more observant and more conscious and also feel polar opposite energies. Super important. It could just be as simple as what if. I'm saying this and I'm thinking this or I'm feeling this, but what if I also feel the opposite? What if I also feel this? What if this other thing is actually bigger and heavier? And because I'm stuck in thinking this is it and this is the only way, you are creating more heaviness by not allowing yourself to connect to the opposite. That makes sense. Actually, yeah, I would love to expand a little bit more into this. Um, I'll feel into it, see how things flow and see how things roll. Um, I'll be sending an email, by the way, soon to to share upcoming things, upcoming classes, live classes, stuff like that. Um, some will be just open platform, and some will be just private invite. So I believe both of you I have all signed up already. But for those of you that have not, you're more than welcome to join us. I shared the link, and it'll probably be in the description of the video too at some point. But yeah, there's so many different things to like start opening up, expanding, pull the curtain, um, open the window, open the door, turn the key, release the veil, let go of the cord, right? All of these different things. And yeah, I want to open up to also bringing through more support in this area of like seeing, feeling, sensing more of what's going on inside. All these different energetic stuff, energetic things, energetic blocks that keep us anchored in the old. I'll be sharing a little bit more into that, but there's everything in our reality is actually inside. No, like, yeah, of course. It might not be exactly the same, and it might be exactly the same. it just we just need to feel into this, and how is my body utilizing this energy? Am I being um am I being like held hostage? Am I being tortured? Am I being held back? Am I being, you know, imprisoned by this very thing? So yeah, we'll go into a little bit of like psychic readings and clearings and stuff like that. I know I talked a little bit about it. I'll share a little bit more. But yeah, there's something there that I want us to open up to, so that we can see more. This is all about seeing more. And in fact, it's so interesting. I had been feeling this, and it's so funny. It's so fascinating because I know, um, with the video that you shared, a couple days ago, Lilith, I don't remember when, with the sun and the waves, super beautiful and amazing. I had been connecting to the sun days prior, maybe a week prior, and it was just like feeling the sun, intending, intentionalizing the frequency of the sun so that I can see more, so that I can sense more, so I can receive more clarity. And it's so fascinating. And I think right now, I know right now, it's happening more and more, and it's happening faster. So this is also part of like, oh, light school, because it's this is more and more and more about, connecting to light, breathing light, looking at the light, looking at the sun, looking at all of these things that bring through more light, activating more light, integrate, like everything becomes about the light, everything becomes about you as light. And so feeling into that, and then that came through, and then your video came through, and it was like, oh, okay, perfect, yes, got it. um I'm on board, let's do this from a whole different way, and from a whole different aspect. This is why it's like, yeah, I get it. You know, while my little me wanted this, and did all these things back in the day and years ago, and it's like you still had to go through the complexity and the dissolution and the movement that you've been doing for the last 10 years. That just is what it is. You couldn't have been able to hold this reality. You wouldn't have been able to see this at all, you know, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. You had to go through your journey. You had to meet all these people. You had to go through all these experiences and, go through all these different things to get to where you are. And I know, breathe with me, I know. And I'm just gonna, keep it like generic and kind of wide. The next 5 years, like you will not be where you are right now in the next 5 years. And I'm being kind of like, but I can probably say that you won't be where you are right now in the next two. Okay, this may happen even faster in the next year, the next 6 months. Like everything is moving so fast and everything is shifting so fast. It's already happening. It's already here. We're already feeling things, already sensing things. Continue to move things in your reality is one of my biggest things for you guys. Continue to move things. Continue to do your spring cleaning right now. Continue to feel what things have to go. They're just taking up space. They're keeping this or keeping that. Things that are you're no longer using, you no longer need, um, unless you really feel. But if you don't need it right now, let it go. When you do need it, you will open yourself up to bring it forth. But right now, if you don't need it, shift it, donate it, sell it, whatever the case may be. Go through your belongings, go through your closet, go through your pantry, go through all of these different things. This month is going to be crucial for that. In fact, I mean, for the rest of eternity, it's probably going to be really important to do that. We need to get into the habit. We need to get into moving things. Move your bed, change your sheets, change this, change where anything that you see in your reality that you haven't moved in the last, I was going to say month, because I move so many things and so often, but in the last 6 months, something in your reality that has literally just stayed there and you haven't moved. I'm going to ask you to open up so that you can move it. I don't care. Just even if it's just moving it position, maybe even if it's just like moving it from this to, have it face a different angle. Move it. Move it. Shift it. Feel into it. I mean, yes, this is like at least do that, but obviously it's like, okay, well then if you're okay and you can do this, then go deeper. Feel into it. What is it serving? What is its purpose? What is it bringing you? Where does it need to go? Does it need to go here? Do I need to keep it? This is your second homework. Um, bonus if you do it the next time I ask. But it is really, really important. You will get to a phase where it's like you just feel like, oh my god, no, I do have to. Or you'll be getting to like, oh, clean this, and when you clean, yeah, move things, move things around so you can, dust, so you can move, so you can get into the nooks and crannies of things. One thing that I haven't moved in a while actually is my wall, my birds and my butterflies actually, and I know I've shared this, and my truest like intention, like I do want to paint this room. So we'll see if I get to a little bit of painting this year, or something, or I actually probably, even if I don't paint, I need to rearrange my little decorative things. But yeah, that made me like, oh yeah, I have not moved those in a while. But everything else other than that, I have moved and I have shifted. It's probably also why I don't have a lot of things yet, is because what I do have, I have a lot of space to move it. And I have a lot of, there's a lot of space for me to play with. So I move my bed, move my things, move my room. But anyway, even if it's clothes that you haven't worn in a while, even if it's, things that you've put away, open it up. Open those bins. Open those boxes. Okay, even if it's just opening them up. You don't have to like take it all out and like figure it out. It might be too much right now. Just open it up. Just feel into it. If you see something that really calls you and you're like, oh yeah, I can do like a little bit of it. I used to do that back in the day. I would pull out a bin out of my closet. I would open it up and I would just go through what I could, throwing things out little by little. I wouldn't throw the whole thing. I would just go through and, sift through things and just take them out. And I did that for months. by the way. And that actually was a really, really big thing that allowed me to move realities and quantum jump and let go of a lot of weight and heaviness that was holding, that was kind of tying me to old me. So another huge one. I will ask, by the way, see where you guys are at. Probably more in the class setting. But this is also like class. This is, big class. So you get some play. My old teacher used to say home play. Okay. Depends on where you're at and depends on like what works. I didn't really have a lot of um, cringe. I wasn't too cringe about homework. But I love homework and I love home play. So it's just up to you to what works for you that like motivates you, like or like really feels like, okay, let's play with this. Or like, no, I'm gonna get to work now. This is serious stuff. Whatever works. Um, so with that, it's 111 and it's about to be 11111. I've been here for an hour and 11 minutes and 11 seconds. So that's my cue. Um, Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for those that are watching the replay. Thank you for those of you that have that popped in at some point. Um, Tomorrow, I feel like 11 has so many portals because we have 11 and then we have 1, so the 111. But then tomorrow we also have, 2, 2, and then we have 11, 11, and then we have, what else do we have? Um, Well, we have 11. Oh, we have I like 1122 as well because they're both master numbers. And then we have 11, what is it? 20. 1120. And then we have 1122. It's like a really jam-packed month, which I love. So, thank you. Thank you both. Sending you tons of love, sending you lots of big hugs and happy everything. And I'll see you guys when I see you. Bye.